Welcome to Diamond Niners Weekly. It is Wednesday night, and we are live here at the Hayes talking Charlotte 49ers baseball. As always, this is Nick, joined by Kevin.
What's up, Niner Nation?
Producer Brad over there, make it happen.
Hey, hey.
And check it out. We got Matt Brooks in the house. What's up, Brooksy?
How we doing? Good to be here.
Man, good to have 41 here. We're gonna jump right in and talk to Matt here a little bit. We tried to do this last week, Matt, but you got stuck in a tornado shelter or something like that. So
Stairwell.
in a stairwell. So Matt we'll talk about that. So as always, guys, Twitter, the chat on YouTube. Producer Brad monitors the chat there. So if you want to hit us up there, you want to hit us up on YouTube, just send something our way. You got questions from Matt? We'll be glad to pass them on. Comments from Matt, whatever. Or maybe you just want to heckle us. People, Jimmy Touchstone always does that, so we can do that too. All right. Good to be back at the Hayes. Good to be live. Kevin, we're live. You're here. This feels right. Yes?
Yeah, it's good to be back, man. It's good to have other people besides you and I and Brad talking.
Yeah. So we did the show via Zoom last week. Boys are on the road. We always handle it that way when the guys go on the road. Matt was going to join us right after the big start that he had last week, and I got a text from you, like as we were going on air, hey, the tornado sirens are blaring, and they're evacuating us.
Yeah.
So you ended up in a stairwell?
Yeah, when we got back to the hotel, we kind of rushed out of there. Well, they locked us in the stadium, so we couldn't get out. Then we had to go back around. The only reason, we weren't freaking out too much, but once the Middle Tennessee guys were kind of freaking out a little bit about the sirens. That's when we started, kicking into gear. So yeah, we tried to rush out of there. But yeah, and then we ended up in the stairwell for about 15 or 20 minutes, just to make sure it was all clear. And then we got to eat. So yeah, it was interesting.
Is that your first evacuation from a baseball field for weather?
Maybe, I think, off the top of my head, yeah.
That's a new one.
I think at La Tech we've had some incidences down there too.
Yeah.
With tornadoes. But yeah, evacuation, I think that's the first. Yeah.
Well, everything it was an eventful weekend for weather anyway, because we had a hailstorm too, right?
Yeah, hail Sims pitched the game, and then after the game they had a hailstorm.
That was crazy.
So you guys got your fill of weather there at Middle Tennessee. So all right, let's get in here. We kind of do some basic things with guys. We bring them on, and Matt, we went and researched this. You have been on before. Mm-hmm. You were on the COVID year from St. Louis. You guys were at P3 working out, and we had you on there. And but this is the first time we've been able to have you on live in person. So let's do a little bit of background stuff, and then we're gonna get to what everybody wants to hear about, which is what it's like to stand on the mound at the Hayes and toss a one hitter. So we're gonna get there, folks. I promise. So Matt, we were talking here, but we always joke, and it's become a running joke, right? That you've been here for a little while now.
Yeah.
If you can remember back, right, you're a high school baseball player in Pennsylvania, and you're trying to make the decision, where you're going to spend the next turns out 6 years of your life. How did you wind up picking Charlotte, North Carolina?
Yeah, it was about double the amount of time that I expected to be at college, for being honest. But it happens. Yeah, for me, thankfully, it was a pretty easy process. I had some interest in the Northeast, and I knew I kind of wanted to come south, mainly for weather. So, once I got contacted by some schools down here, I think Charlotte was the first. It was like my second or third visit overall, but one of my first down here in the South, what I consider the South. And it was easy because once I saw campus, I kind of fell in love. I came down with my parents I think it was the summer before my senior year. So once I saw campus, we went to the city for a little dinner. It was pretty easy to choose. So I committed after my visit, about 2 hours after my visit. And that just kind of shows, how the campus impacted me in the city and the coaching staff at that point. So it was, pretty easy. And a lot of people can't really say that it was an easy decision, but for me it was easy and obviously one that I'm glad I made. So,
That would have been around 2015. Is that right?
Yeah. Yeah, I graduated 2016, so yeah, 2015 summer. Yeah.
Who was recruiting you then?
So Bo Rob saw me first in Myrtle Beach. He saw me throw there, saw me play a little bit of shortstop as well.
That's right. That's right.
That didn't work out, but and then eventually Coach Hibbs flew up to Philadelphia to meet with me and my parents in a hotel. So that was pretty big for us. I think that's where he offered me. And then I came down and rode around with Bo Rob again on campus. So mainly those two. And at that point, it was a little bit of Brandon Hall because he was here previously, and then I had Coach Doty for the first year. So it was a little bit of everybody, basically. Yeah.
I think we saw Brandon at a game. Was it last year? And we asked him who was the last guy on the field that he recruited. I think you were.
Yeah. I would assume me or Colby maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's pretty good. Yeah, Brandon was here doing some work for PR in North Carolina. I think it might have been the Wilmington series when Brandon was here. Honestly, I think at the last year. So that was cool.
Yeah.
So the area sort of sells itself to you and the campus and everything else and what we have to offer here. You mentioned, you said what you consider South, right? So where does, from someone from Pennsylvania, where does the South begin?
Well, I guess it's Mason-Dixon line, but for me, I wouldn't consider Maryland South. I'd say Virginia.
Right.
I think.
I'm actually.
Is that the right answer?
Well, it depends. I'm actually reading a book right now. It's about college sports and a number of things. Anyway, but there's this debate going on. We're talking about where does the South begin, and if you ask the people in Alabama, this is not the South,
Right.
right? This is not the South if you're in Alabama. But what do they know? They put mayonnaise-based sauce on their barbecue, so they don't know what they're talking about.
Yeah.
So you get here to campus, and I mean you've come a long way as a pitcher. Now you've talked in the past about the different the adversity that you've overcome while you were here, both on the diamond and off. If you missed Matt's speech at the first pitch dinner back in February, then you just missed it. There needs to be. There were cameras there. There needs to be video.
That's
of
okay.
that. No, I mean
It was good, man. It was
Matt. I mean, I get what you're saying, man, but this needs to be shown to recruits and stuff. I mean, it was fantastic. I mean, it was.
Thank you.
Man, Matt did a heck of a job. I remember walking up to you beforehand and said, "So you have some comments? You got comments ready?" And you're like, "Yeah, I got a few things." And then Matt goes on and just wrecks the room.
Yeah.
Just kills it. And then I had to talk right after you. And I haven't really forgiven you for that yet because I had to come behind you.
Yeah.
But,
nobody remembers what you said, Nick. After that,
well, no one should ever remember what I say, frankly. But you just did. I mean, that is in a career full of moments. Okay, the job you did at the first pitch dinner is one of those. I mean, I'll always remember that. I mean that's your thing, man. You crushed that.
Thank you. Thank you.
Do you ever want to do that again?
I don't know. Maybe in a little more lighthearted, maybe.
Yeah.
I knew it was going to be rough. I actually wrote it that morning, kind of wrote stuff out, and I was getting a little bit emotional as I was just writing it.
Yeah.
So I knew, this is probably going to be a little rough. But, got through it, so.
you did great.
Yeah.
It was emotional, and I think everyone was very proud to call you a 49er that night. It was a great moment, like Nick said, something I'll never forget. So
Yeah.
it was.
I appreciate that.
Absolutely. Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about your approach to baseball. Okay, I told you we promised Kevin. See, I'm bringing baseball into the equation here.
Go ahead.
Okay, I'm turning over a new leaf. It's always you bring this back to baseball. So your career. I mean, you've been a starter much of your career. I know you're a team guy. You're willing to do whatever it takes and play whatever role you need to. But you've made a ton of starts here in your college career. Let's kind of walk us through, the day of when you know you're starting that day. You're getting the ball, and I don't care if it's you've started. Heck, you've probably started Friday night, Saturday night, Sunday night, and Tuesday, Wednesday night. So no matter what day of the week it is,
Right.
you're getting the ball.
Right.
What's your daily routine like? What's that like waking up in the morning going, okay, I'm going to be on the bump tonight?
Right. It's kind of funny you ask because recently, the past two especially, I've kind of not necessarily reshaped it, but just kind of rethought some of the stuff that I do. And it's changed over the years as well. But recently, I like to keep my heart rate down all day, even when I get to the field. Just try to stay really relaxed. I don't really talk to people all that much. And I've recently heard an interview with Jake Arrieta, and he's just said, like, he's a nice guy, but when it's his day to throw, he's not very nice, which is not necessarily how I am, but I just like to, lock in that way and kind of, stay away from everybody else. But morning of is kind of similar, breakfast, stuff like that. The last few times, last Tuesday, Colby will like this, but Colby's gotten me into a little bit of trading card stuff. So I've kind of been going and go to a card shop, get a pack of cards and open those, and it kind of gets my mind off of other stuff. So I've done that the past 2 times.
Hang on.
It's kind of
now.
interesting, but
So that's a part of your game day thing is you go by.
the past 2 times at least. I did it last Tuesday, so I had to do it this Tuesday.
Well,
but
you just need to keep right on doing that, man.
it kind of gets my mind off of stuff. Kind of do that up until I have to leave for the field, and then by that point it's time to kind of lock in a little bit.
I'm you know what? We're going to start doing that too, Kim. That's right.
Yeah.
I mean, the more the merrier. So
Yeah.
where do you go get your cards?
I'm kind of new to it. Colby's taught me a lot because he's pretty big on this.
Really?
Yeah.
So we need a whole
Yeah.
trading card episode with Colby Bruce. I can see that happening.
So you can get some smaller boxes from Target and Walmart and stuff like
Yeah.
that. So I've started with those, and then I went to a card shop yesterday just to mess around. I was kind of overwhelmed, but found something there, opened it, and just see what you get. It's kind of fun.
I feel the same way. I'm kind of overwhelmed now with all the stuff now, but I used to be all over it. So
Yeah.
and
There's a lot going on.
It's come back. It's come
Mhm.
back. So I've gotten back into it.
Mhm.
I think COVID pushed a lot of people to go up in their attic and find all their old cards.
Yeah. Yeah,
and,
for sure.
There's a lot of activity going on. I mean, the market's going up now with baseball cards.
It's
Or-
amazing the market. Yeah, the
You
market.
said trading cards.
Yeah.
but
Whatever you
Yeah.
whatever you call it. Yeah.
Are
Baseball
you
and basketball too.
baseball and basketball.
Yeah.
You're doing basketball.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Well,
it's fun.
my
I
kids
enjoy
are
it.
into Pokemon cards,
Mhm.
so we went to a.
Does that count?
It does
yeah.
because they're super expensive.
Yes.
Some of these cards are ridiculous.
Okay, you haven't bought any Pokemon cards.
I have not gotten there yet.
Okay, don't do that.
So these-
Don't do that.
There's recently these baseball card show or these trading card shows
Mm-hmm.
now. They have half of it's Pokemon, half of it's baseball, basketball, football stuff. So
They have everything now.
Yeah.
Like Harry Potter, trading cards. It's kind of crazy. But anyway,
yeah, sorry,
Yeah.
I'm the one.
No. I'm loving this. So wait a minute. We're not done with this. So you're buying basketball cards, and you found a card shop yesterday. Where did you go?
it's in Kannapolis because I live in Concord.
Yeah.
It's called Scott's Collectibles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've been there before. Yeah,
They have a
Well,
lot of different stuff.
okay. So we'll talk off here. You can tell me where this is because
I'll tell you where.
Wait, you've been there?
Yeah,
It's near
that's
us.
where I get the kids' Pokemon stuff.
They have a lot of stuff there
Yeah, they have all kinds of
Yeah.
sports collectibles.
Okay.
in general. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I'm in K-Town, so I need to know about this.
Mhm.
We're
It's near the Home Depot over there. I don't know if you know where that is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
okay. So now we're plugging Scott's Collectibles
Well,
here.
maybe
I
Sponsor
smell
the
sponsorship.
show.
Sponsorship.
There you go. We're plugging Scott's
Yeah.
Collectibles. So you go over there, and I know that area. So you go over there and you get a pack of basketball cards and just see what's in it. And
Yeah.
I mean, is depending on what's in the pack that day. Does that mean is that a sign? Is that or it's just something to do?
Just something to do, really, just to get my mind off it. Because as much as I don't like to overthink, a lot of times on my game days, I think about it a lot.
Yeah.
It's just how it is. But those kind of help me, get my mind off it a little bit.
Takes your mind off the preparation. I mean, you're
Right.
You always
I get
want to prep, right?
I honestly get like not stressed out, but I think about it up until I start my stretch, like for getting prepared to get in the bullpen, and then I'm fine. But everything before that, I'm anxious is what I'll call it. Excited. So if I can find stuff to do before that happens, then it's I get right into it and I'm good to go. So that's what I've been doing lately. But
Man, that was like where else do you go to get that content that
Hey, our goal is to give them stuff they can't find in the box score.
That's right. That is definitely not in the box score anywhere.
Yeah.
So, all right, we'll. Oh, okay. We got a question coming in. So, we Feet Davis, our boy Feet, Tops, Fleer, Skybox. What are you buying? So, do you have a brand? We've already plugged the card shop for free. Let's plug a brand. So have you zeroed in on something?
Well, like I said, I don't know much about it. I'm still learning.
Yeah.
But Tops, I've done a little bit of baseball, just the normal stuff that you can buy at the store. And then basketball is like Panini, which they do a bunch of different sets of stuff.
Yeah.
So that's about all I can tell you.
Okay, so here's what's going to happen to you, and we're going to get off the card thing, but here's what's going to happen to you is you're going to keep these things, and they're going to wind up in your garage, and you're going to be like, 40-something years old, and your wife's going to be like, what are you doing with these? Or you're like,
Probably, yeah.
You can say, I opened this pack before I threw a one-hitter on
right.
back in the day.
That's right.
Maybe.
So you got to keep that. You got to keep those packs together. So okay, there you go, Feet. There's the answer to that. Oh, we're finding out more information here. Feet has major items in the vault from the 80s. So apparently, when it comes to collectibles, steady listener Feet Davis has immense card collectibles.
Cool.
So who knew we were going to run into that? Okay. So after you get done at the card shop, you're grabbing some lunch. You're head to the ballpark. 6:00 start. What time you rolling in?
I'll just talk about the past two times because I don't really remember before that. It's all similar.
Sure.
But I think we do yesterday we did 3:10 scout meeting. I got to the field around like 2:15, 2:30 with my Smoothie King. Had some of that before.
Oh,
yeah.
Dude, we are plugging everything. Smoothie King, that's the deal?
Awesome.
Yeah. So I went there and then got here about 2:15, go to scout at 3:10, then usually sit in the dugout, watch our batting practice. It's usually a pretty good show. So I watch a little bit of that, go back to the locker room for a little bit, maybe get a snack. And then once I come back out, that's usually when I start a lot of my stuff, usually about an hour before the game. I'm a pretty schedule-oriented guy. That's why I like to start, I think. So I set my schedule. So yesterday, started throwing in the outfield at 35, so 5:35, and then basically work backwards from there. So start around 4:55, all that stuff, and just kind of work my way to that 5:35.
You have a special thing you get at Smoothie King, or just whatever's on your mind? Just
I usually get the
people want to know this stuff, man.
I usually get the Chocolate Hulk, which is a pretty good one. Yesterday I got the Peanut Power Plus, which is pretty good. So.
Okay. Oh, producer Brad, that's your deal. That's your jam, producer Brad.
It's PB&J in a smoothie.
Yeah, no, that's
it's
good.
So good.
Okay.
You can add stuff too. I added like a little energy booster.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Okay. So the next Matt Brooks start. I'm buying some cards. You in on this, Kevin?
Some cards.
We're gonna get some cards. We're gonna get a smoothie. We're gonna see if it works for us too.
Why not?
I mean, it works for Matt. I mean, it could work for us. Yeah. All right. So we've kind of danced all around it. You talked about the last two starts, which you're way too modest to mention this, but we're talking about one earned run over the last 13 innings, last 2 weeks. We were all set to talk to you about this last week before everything went down. So let's just break down this one hitter, okay? Because we were talking to Woody beforehand. He went in for, he couldn't remember if it was 2 or 3 hits that his lowest number. Woody, you claiming 2? He's going 3. Okay, he's gonna back it up to 3. So none of us, and I don't know if anybody listening out there has ever thrown a one hitter, but no one here has. So walk us through that. What's going on? You're out there, first inning, you're feeling good. You bought your card, you had your PB&J smoothie, and let's talk psychology, man. Let's talk how this just walk through the game.
Yeah, I don't really know where to start necessarily.
First inning.
I'll start with this. I think first 5 batters grounded out. First
Yeah.
5.
I can start with that too, because that's kind of what I've been thinking about this. I thought about it that night, and I try to get away from stuff as soon as I can because it's short memory type thing, positive or negative. But I feel like when I'm going well, I get a lot of ground balls, and that's kind of what happened, and a lot of fly balls too. I only had I think 3 strikeouts, so that was a testament to where we were set up in the infield because we had a lot of ground balls. And it's easy to pitch to our defense as well.
I think you threw like 10 pitches in the first inning or something like that. It was
I honestly I don't
might
remember.
even been less.
I really don't remember.
Yeah.
That's
I remember.
the thing. And that's another thing as well. It's just you almost kind of black out a little bit.
Yeah.
Especially when you get rolling. So
I was running late. I had to go home and do some stuff at home first, and I was listening to it on the radio. And I texted Nick. I said, I'm going to hurry up and get to the Hayes before Matt finishes the game because it was only the second inning because it was only it only lasted like what 10 minutes.
Yeah, I mean it was I don't know that you guys were using the attack clock. We talked about the 8 minutes. Heck, you probably used 4 minutes of the 8 on multiple innings in there because you guys were getting off the field so fast. They were going after. They were, Winthrop was going after some. They were going early in the count. They were swinging at stuff, and you were getting them to chase stuff, getting them to ground out, getting a lot of fly outs.
Yeah.
Before we get a little deeper in the game, I feel like it's an important thing to note here that I feel like it was really up to you to set a tone there. Playing Winthrop for the second week in a row, down there, things didn't go the way we wanted them to. And then you came, you're out there on the bump, and it's like, okay, this is kind of a turning point type of game,
right.
And they had to be coming in confident. I mean, they won the game just a week before, so why wouldn't they be confident? So it was really up to you to go out there and set the tone early, and then you respond that way. I mean that just, and you could see. I thought just as the night wore on, their dugout looked really deflated. I mean, I don't know if you're probably not paying. Are you paying attention to that?
I can tell. No, I can tell for sure. Yeah, because they were talking early on, and that's the thing is you can tell, and it's a good feeling. I mean, it's a good feeling when they get like that. So but yes, you're right.
The talking slowed down quite a bit.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Or maybe I just blacked out a little bit more as the innings went on. Maybe a little bit of both, but yeah.
So okay. I thought I'm gonna share my experience with you. Then you tell me what you're thinking. The 3 innings happened really fast. The first time I really thought about the 0 on the board was about the 5th inning. That's when I started thinking, wow, this is getting. I mean, 3 innings is like okay, yeah, it's great. But when we got to the 5th, it was like, oh man, this is starting to add up. Where are you in the game when
that's
you start
close.
Really thinking about it?
I think that's pretty close, 5th or 6th. Yeah,
5th or
honestly.
6th.
Because you're getting through the lineup twice.
Right. Getting through that third time, getting to the third time, you're probably thinking about it a little bit.
Right.
Now,
and then once you realize your pitch count is low enough at that point where you can continue going, you kind of realize like, well, yeah. So that's probably 5th or 6th.
Because after 5, you were still probably at like 65 pitches or something like that. I mean, it was really manageable. We started doing our thing, the thing that fans do, where we start talking about it without talking about it.
Right.
Where the glances were exchanged and the this and the that and the Matt's we were running out of ways to tweet about it because we're not saying it right. What is it we say, Kevin? We're not superstitious.
Just a little stitches.
Just a little stitches. You know, Matt Brooks retires them in order again.
Mm-hmm.
Once again, Brooks sits them down. 1, 2, 3. We were running out of ways to dance around
Yeah.
it. Seventh inning. Seventh inning's when I kind of started freaking out.
Yeah. You could tell he was getting really nervous.
You look very you talk about low heart rate and you know.
I'm glad
but-
it looked that way.
Well,
Yeah.
it did look that way. Mine
Yeah.
wasn't. And then what did now? Bless her. But what did I said after 7? I was like, I looked at you and said, I'm getting really kind of starting to freak out about this. And my wife, bless her, says, "Why? We're winning."
We're winning 8-0. And I think Brad told her.
Producer Brad, what? I think you. Oh, she said why, and I said I can't tell you. I said I can't tell you.
Yeah,
I thought you were
going
betting on the game or something.
going into the 9th, I think is when, and as I pointed out to her, I was like, yeah, you know, we're sitting on history right here.
Yeah. So okay.
Yeah.
What thought process? Last few innings. I mean, you're
Yeah.
really starting.
How's the dugout? How's the dugout?
Yeah. How they treating you
It's
down there?
tense. I don't know. They definitely stay away from me a little bit, which is kind of how it is in the early parts of the game as well. You kind of stay away from the starting pitcher, but they were definitely staying away from me a little bit. Definitely like that tension that I'm sure everybody felt. I felt it. And then once I went out for the 9th, that's kind of when it really, I was thinking about it for sure. And then especially when I got 2 outs. And even when I got 2 outs, I got a little bit emotional once I got 2 outs. And that's probably why I left a cutter down the middle. So it's a little frustrating, but yeah, that's when I really started, thinking about it, was with 2 outs. So, yeah.
And I was certain at 2 outs, I was like, oh my gosh, this is gonna happen. And poor Jake did everything he could to get to that ball.
Yeah.
We talked to him afterwards, and he was like,
I talked to him too.
oh my gosh, he was just like, I should have got it.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I was like, man, come on.
Yeah.
I told him, okay, it's hard from our perspective. I'm like, if you had gotten that ball, you'd have probably gone head first in the wall and still be laying out there.
Yeah.
But, I mean, he did come back and record the 3rd out.
Yeah, he did.
Slide
It was a good
catch.
play. Yeah,
Yeah,
really good
tough
play.
Yeah,
play. It was a
yeah,
tough
tough
play.
play. He came back and he laid out for the 3rd out.
Kept the shutout.
Yeah, preserved the shutout.
Yeah. I eased his mind a little bit too. He gave me a hug afterwards. I said, "Man, it's fine. It's good. I shouldn't have hung a cutter, you know."
You know,
So.
it was Matt. Seriously, Kevin and I were talking about this. I mean, we've seen some great starts here, over the years, but that's one that's up there. I mean, kind of like we'll always remember where we were when Matt Brooks took to the stage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The first pitch dinner. We're gonna remember that one too.
It was a fun night. It was a fun night. It was one batter short, but man, it was
Yeah.
memorable, and
Yeah,
like I
it
said,
was
it's,
fun.
It's going to go down in the history books for sure.
Yeah.
At least with us, and
Yeah.
certainly with others.
I think another crazy thing too to talk about is that, like, me and Caden, like the connection between me and Caden. It's like I thought about this too a few days after. Is that I think I shook him off one time, which is kind of crazy to think about a little bit. Or like there was one pitch that I didn't agree with him on. So I think that's a big part of it too. So that's something I thought about a lot too. But
Right.
you
Called a great game.
yeah, it's a big part of it. So.
How often in other starts? How often would you say you shake off?
Not all that much.
Okay.
I'm not necessarily a pitcher that says like I need to throw this pitch right now, and I'm gonna shake to it. I feel like I try to be someone that can throw any pitch in any count. So usually when he puts it down, like I'm pretty confident in him. Like he has a trust in me, and knows what's best. He can see the hitter pretty well too. So I usually take his word for it. Really, I really don't shake all that often. And that's how it definitely went on Tuesday and even yesterday. I really don't shake too often. and it takes a special catcher to be able to do that too.
Yeah, and
So.
I mean, it's his first year here, and you guys just met
Yeah.
maybe a few months back, and to build that relationship in such a short time is it's pretty incredible.
Yeah.
So from our perspective in the stands, it's we're kind of off to the side anyway, and with the haze, you're kind of sitting up, so pitch recognition is not always the greatest from where we sit, especially off to the side. But you've put out video, and we've discussed it on here, your work with the knuckleball. So in how often is that getting mixed in, would you say, these days?
Not as often lately. Worked on it a little bit at the beginning of the year, but then we kind of agreed, like, the big part of it was the issue that's going on with my elbow currently was the main reason why I started doing that.
Yeah.
And I knew I could. I've done it previously. I did it in high school, so I knew I could. And we kind of figured that the elbow would break down a little bit quicker than it has. And we kind of realized throughout the fall that I've recovered well, and it's been going well. So why not go back to like what we saw last year, like some of that stuff we saw last year. Fastball, cutter, curveball that's getting better, changeup, just kind of not having a scouting report for guys, but just throwing like almost every pitch is in any count. So that's been more of what I've been doing is, 4-seam, 2-seam, changeup, cutter, curveball, as of right now. So
Okay.
yeah.
Now, and I don't hold this against me. We did this. This was last night's conversation, but another fantastic outing last night.
Thank
You really did the job, but you gave up a hit on the first batter, and a little part of me said, "Well, at least I can go to the bathroom tonight."
Yeah,
Because last week we were not moving.
Right.
yeah.
We
From
were.
sixth inning on. I had to use the bathroom. And I couldn't. But
You didn't hear this last week. We discussed it on the show. Kevin at one point said, "I really got to go," and I'm like, "Dude, you are not leaving that spot. If you just do what you got to do, but you are not leaving that spot." And so last night, it's like, okay, we'll take 4 innings of one hit, of 1-run ball, and it's like, that was, we went to the concession stand and whatever. It was more relaxed.
Yeah.
It's funny you say that because when I gave up the first hit, I thought the same thing actually. Like, okay, it's kind of out of the way. Like,
Yeah.
let's go pitch a little bit now.
Yeah, you don't
So
have
I
to.
thought about it too. Actually, it's kind of funny.
Yeah, it was like, well, okay, well,
Yeah.
at least we can use the bathroom if we need
Yeah,
to now.
it didn't take 26 guys to get the first hit.
Yeah. So okay.
Yeah.
All right. So we're gonna wrap you up here, Matt. But before we get you out of here, we always do some kind of standard questions with you guys. So you mentioned we always ask walk-up song. Well, you're not walk-up. Your warm-up song and why you picked it.
Mm-hmm.
So what do you got for us?
Yeah. So it's a song called "Fair Trade" by Drake. And I was telling you guys before, usually I just pick something that I like the sound of. I really don't hear what it says.
Yeah.
Especially once I get on the rubber for my warm-up pitches, I really don't hear much.
It's more for the fans, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Do you know what it says?
Kinda.
Have your parents weighed in? Parents have a lot to say
They haven't
about
said anything-
warm-up / walk-up music.
They haven't said anything negative, so I think that's a good thing. Yeah.
Okay, because
Yeah.
we haven't had, this is not anybody we've had on yet, but we are aware of at least a couple of players whose moms don't like their walk-up songs, and when we get those people on, we're gonna have to delve into that. So
I think mine's cleared. I think so. So
Okay.
I think we're good.
all right.
Well, Matt, you've been here a long time, and you're one of the players that we've had on the show that most of the players we had are fairly new to the program. I wanted to ask you, over your time here so far, you have a favorite 49er memory that you can share with us? I know I'm putting you on the spot here a little bit, but
There's a lot for
I
sure.
know there's a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, Yeah, I've got quite a few. I mean, last year the Old Dominion game, last year the Maryland game stick out right away. Your freshman year, 2017, the conference tournament game. But I was just curious if anything, it might be something off the field, something on the field.
Yeah. As much as I remember those, obviously I remember all those really well. And the other ones I, don't remember as much, but those ones are pretty memorable. But it is a lot of like off the field type stuff. Just hanging out with the guys, like having them beside you every day, locker room type stuff, or bus trips, just little stuff like that. Nothing even specific, but just we're around each other for hours every day, which is pretty different for most people. So just those connections and the guys that I've played with a lot of different guys
Yeah.
over my 6 years, and obviously a lot that I still talk to, and a lot of my best friends are from the Charlotte area, along with people from home. But most of the people that I've played with, and the multitude of guys that I played with are guys that are be best friends for life. So that's probably more what I'll take away, especially is the off the field stuff, and I think most of us would say that too.
Right.
Bus trips, locker room, team dinners, stuff like that is the pretty easy answer. But that's
Maybe
my
not
answer.
the bus trip back from FIU last year.
No, that was fun because
That was good.
Yeah,
The
I mean,
bonding-
it's
bonding.
fun when you win. So
Winning is fun. That's
Yeah,
true. I can confirm that.
yeah,
And one other thing I wanted to ask you about, because it was pretty special when it happened last year. You missed most of 2019, and all of 2020. Last year, you made your first appearance in nearly 2 years versus Morehead State. What was that like coming back to the mound at the Hayes after missing so much time and battling back?
yeah. Emotional, for sure. That's kind of the the main theme of that.
Yeah.
I actually don't really remember that one all that much. I remember it went well.
Yeah.
But emotional, and there was a lot of hard work that was put into getting back to that point. I knew it would come at some point, but for a while I didn't know when. And there was a lot of people around me that helped me get to that point. And it was, some people that are here now that if they weren't here, I probably wouldn't have made that appearance, because there were some struggles that almost made me stop, for sure. So that was pretty special to get there.
Yeah. It's another one of those special moments we'll remember. But I just wanted to ask you about it because it definitely you've been here a long time, like I said, and
Yeah.
there's a lot. There's too many to go through right now. Just
Yeah.
going off the top of my
Yeah.
head, and then I had a couple marked here, but yeah.
Yeah, that was a fun one.
Now, with the time you've been on campus, you've been able to earn 2 undergraduate degrees, I believe, and are working on. You're in grad school now.
Yeah.
Tell folks what you've been able to do in the classroom while you were here.
Yeah, so I started out in the business school, and then I got to accounting, and I didn't think I should be in the business school anymore. I passed it, but I knew it wasn't really for me.
Yeah.
So I switched to earth and environmental science and got that degree, and then geography as well for that 5th year. And then, the 6th year, I realized I had to, do something else. So I'm in a graduate program, a graduate certificate of workplace competencies, workplace communications, stuff like that. So.
And then, and this is we love when we get to share news like this. You have some employment lined up
Yeah.
for
It's a good
after
feeling.
the season.
Yeah.
So what's going on the employment front?
Yeah, so I accepted a job at Carmel Country Club as an assistant golf course superintendent. Kind of runs in the family a little bit. That's what my dad does. I've kind of done that all my life, so that's what I'll be doing once I'm done. Pretty excited about it. So, yeah, it's nice to have that comfort of knowing what you're going to do once this is over. So,
Yeah, because you can just go with it now.
yeah,
That's what it's all about, right?
Yeah.
I mean, this is we call you guys, student athletes, and we're a little biased here. I always say is all these guys working hard in the classroom, but when you're talking about with baseball players, I mean, this is you guys do you're grinding in the classroom, and For one thing, I mean, and this is a whole nother issue, but with the NCAA, the 11.7 scholarships, you guys are really student athletes as far as you're paying to be here. And to see a guy like you come in and take advantage of his educational opportunities and walk out of here not only educated but employed, on top of everything else you've accomplished, like we've been talking about. I mean, that's just fantastic, Nat.
Yeah.
Congratulations, man.
Thank you.
That's fantastic. All right, Nat, we're going to let you get back to it, man. You've probably got some smoothies to drink, or maybe you're headed to the card shop or something.
I
But
had Chipotle tonight.
so
there's
man, so
Write
we're
that down.
we're gonna-
We'll reach out.
Chipotle. So
Yeah.
we're gonna let you go, Matt. We appreciate it so
Yeah.
much, man. We're gonna pause here for station identification and get Coach Woody in here. Apparently, this commercial break has been brought to you by, what do we got? Scott's Card Shop,
Collectibles,
Scott's Collectibles,
Smoothie King, and
Chipotle Tops.
Tops,
So
and Panini.
And
Or-
Panini.
Yeah.
thanks to all those people making Matt Brooks starts possible.
Much appreciated. Thank you guys as well.
All right, thank you, Matt. All right, hang tight,
Appreciate you
folks. We'll be right back with you. We're gonna reset and get Coach Woody in here. All right, we are back. If I heard that correctly, it sounded like producer Brad has gotten us, you guys, some elevator music to listen to. Was that elevator music, Brad?
That'd be the funkiest elevator music I've ever heard, but
Oh,
sure.
I couldn't hear it all the way. Well, it just depends on where you're riding the elevator at, man.
It's
I mean,
it's the podcast. What is this playlist called? The podcast Electronica. That's what it's called.
okay, so
Perfect.
coming to an elevator near you, maybe. If I don't know, this is where you ride the elevator. So that was awesome. Appreciate Matt coming in. 41 is always fun to talk to. What a success story. In every way you measure it. Now we got Coach Woody in here. Before we get into talking some baseball, Woody, tell everybody what you just shared a few things with Matt. You had dug out of the file. What'd you have?
Yeah, so my mom was a big scrapbooker and she kept everything. So like I have big binders of all this stuff, and I have like plastic containers of a bunch of stuff that she kept over the years, And so, as I'm sure many of our players' moms do with their stuff, they just eventually they kind of give it to you and pass it down, and my mom did that anyway. So I was running through it, and I've got a whole box of recruiting letters from actually schools I didn't attend. So I kind of have a box of all the letters from North Carolina, and then I have a box of letters from all the schools that I didn't attend. And, it just brought back a lot of really good memories, honestly, because I remember it's weird. It's like you open up all those letters, and they're all from 20 years ago. They're all dated from 2001, 2002. Mm-hmm. And I remember going to the mailbox and being excited to see what school logo would be in the mail that day. If there was one, didn't matter the logo. I was always thankful that anybody wanted me to come play baseball and attend their school. And I have about 4 or 5 here from Charlotte, and it's pretty cool. I've got a few typed up from Coach Hibbs with his signature. I've got a handwritten note from Brandon Hall, former pitching coach here for a long time, and I've got an email from Coach Greg Brummett, who was trying to coordinate a junior day visit for my parents and I to come attend, but I was taking the SAT that day, which I certainly remember that day. And, they wanted me to come visit right after the SAT was over and attend a basketball game, and I wasn't able to. So it was just really neat kind of looking through those and it's a little surreal, honestly, looking at the letterhead, and it's the same address here, and there's the campus map with Wells Fargo Fieldhouse and the state and the field, and yeah, it's pretty cool.
And then, of course, Kevin and I ripped into Woody for not attending here and not responding positively to the letters, but we didn't want to air that. But you're here now.
That's right. When both your parents go to a school, that's a lot to overcome for other schools. So,
Yeah.
You can blame my parents. Don't blame. Yeah, you can blame them.
Well, also Matt put a dagger into. He said we don't do letters anymore. They just do emails.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I brought them all in because Toby loves everything. Coach Bick loves everything recruiting. So it was cool because there's a bunch of coaches' names, whether it's Butch Thompson, now the head coach at Auburn, or Tim Corbin. I've got a letter from Tim Corbin when he was an assistant at Clemson and a head coach at Vanderbilt. And there's a lot of letters in there that there's a lot of great ideas for us to kind of get back to some, add some more traditional roots of recruiting that, I think, like I said, I still remember being that kid going to the mailbox and being excited about a letter. So there's something to it. So we talk about as a staff that maybe we can, do even better.
Good deal.
I'm going to take you up on that offer, Woody, but we're going to leave your mom out of this. We're just going to blame your dad.
That's fair. Yeah, that's fair.
Is that okay?
That's fair.
I mean,
Yeah.
Your mom's a really nice lady.
She is.
We're just going to blame your dad.
That's fair.
So we got it. We accidentally stumbled into a fantastic conversation with Matt buying baseball cards, basketball cards on start days. So we've heard from some folks that have their card stashes in places. Kevin has them. I have them. Apparently, your boy Feet has some in a vault somewhere. What have you got?
Yeah, I mean, I've got I've got shoe boxes, and there was a really awesome card shop over in Cotswold back in the day. It used to be called like All Star Cards or Collectibles, and it was in Cotswold Mall, which is now Cotswold Village, I think. And so it was my favorite thing to do with my mom while we were waiting on my brother to finish piano lessons. So like my brother would be taking piano lessons and I was bored. So my mom would take me to the card shop and we would just, as many cards as I could get. But yeah, my brother and I, we collected cards and traded. You know, I think Ken Griffey Jr. and Frank Thomas were my brother's favorite players. So anytime I got those, we always had to trade. Dave Justice, Chipper Jones, Greg Maddox, those were my three favorites. So, you know, we probably have a bunch of all those cards. And then I was always going after a Michael Jordan card. I'm sure there's some Michael Jordan cards that are in there that are probably worth something that I've forgotten about. But, yeah.
We got into a Ken Griffey Jr. discussion last night. There was a young man working the concession stand with a Ken Griffey Jr. shirt. Where he got it from a site.
Baseballism.
Baseballism.
Another plug for the
Baseballism. We're plugging everybody. He had a Ken Griffey Jr. shirt, and it had a logo on it, kind of I don't know what you would call that.
silhouette type.
Silhouette kind of thing that was obviously Junior. And on the back it said your favorite player's favorite player. I thought that was cool.
Cool.
And it was that Seattle Mariners teal. Cool looking shirt.
Yeah, it was a pretty cool moment when when I was in the minor leagues with the Padres, the San Diego Padres and Seattle Mariners share spring training complex. Like one side of the complex is Padres, one side's Mariners, and I was like, I was riding in one morning with some of my teammates, and we saw like one of the nicest white Bentleys we'd ever seen, and assumed it was a Players. We didn't know, thought it might be a current Players, and we get to the complex and pull out, and Griffey got out of the Bentley, and that was pretty cool.
Did you meet him?
No. Just kind of like, yep, that's what a Hall of Famer's car looks like. Got it. Yep.
No, I was telling Kevin last night, I was definitely a Griffey guy. I had the Griffey high top. They were like turf shoes, right? They were tennis shoes. They basically were constructed like a basketball shoe, but they were his shoe, and they were the teal. They were teal and black. I had those shoes.
Yeah.
Those were sweet. I have never owned. I know you have. I have never owned a pair of Jordans, but I had those Griffey shoes.
Yeah.
That was,
We got to work on that.
Can we get some in Niner green?
Yeah.
Green patent leather, right?
Yeah. I got green Jordans.
He's got
You coach in green Jordans. That's
I
true.
do.
I've noticed that.
Yeah.
That's true.
Coach Siebes got green Jordans.
Yeah.
Coach Bick's got green Jordans. Coach Miney's got white Jordans. Coach Simmons has every color Jordan.
Yours are like early Jordans.
Yeah,
though.
I got the Jordan ones.
ones.
Yeah.
Ones.
Yeah. So,
Occasionally at the plate, some of the umpires will be like, "Aren't those too nice to wear on the field?" I'm like, "Nope,
That's what you got them for.
nope, yep, that's what they're for."
Okay. So we're gonna start a whole nother podcast talking about cards, I guess, because and apparently we need Colby Bruce to like co-host
Yeah.
that.
I would, between that and apparently he's the best stock analyst, the best fantasy sport analyst. He's a knowledgeable one, Colby Bruce. Yeah.
Colby talks investments in the locker room.
That's yeah, and gives tips to the coaching staff. He's helping
Was
us.
he Roger Dorn?
Helping us. I would lean on Colby Bruce and Nick Turnbull for portfolio advice. Yeah, they're gonna do great things. Yeah.
That's fantastic. All right, so Kevin, this is about the
where I'm
time.
supposed to jump
This is
in?
about the time where you say, "Hey, we've got the
Let's
head
talk-
coach here. Let's talk about baseball."
We played a baseball game last night.
We did. We did play a baseball game last night.
Yep.
Coastal Carolina, formidable opponent. They College World Series champs, 2016, I believe. They came in here last night. Had a pretty good team, looked like, and Niners bats were live last night. Was it 11-3 final?
Yep.
11-3 final.
Yeah, no, I mean, Coach Gilmore and Coach Schnall and Beverly and those guys, they do a great job there at Coastal. They always have, and I've really watched that Coastal Carolina program grow from when I was a player to a young assistant coach to watching them open their new facility and win the national championship in 2016, and just really grow over the years. And it starts with Coach Gilmore and that staff, and they have a very good team, very strong team. I was really proud of the way our guys played the game. I thought that was a pretty complete all around game, just on all facets, and was really great to see some guys continue to stay hot, some guys looking like they're getting hot, and seeing really our pitchers on the mound. I thought every guy that went in there last night kind of had that look you want to see, and as you head into conference weekend series. So it was great. It was a lot of fun. A lot of fun.
So, and this is the kind of thing, and I know this is all fluid with scheduling arrangements, but Coastal came here. We do not have a return engagement set up right now. I mean, we're not playing there this year. Is that something we might be returning?
Yeah, we'll definitely go there next year. It'll either be just go there next year and they come back the following year, or we'll go there for a home and home next year. So
because we went there in 20, right? Before
we did.
Right.
Yep, we did. Yep, we went there in 20, and amazingly, Coach Gilmore said that this was his first time that he had ever been here, at least since maybe the stadium was built. But he had told me that, and the assistant coach as well, they said they had never seen our facility and our campus, and they were blown away, which everybody that comes here is. Yeah. And but they were extremely impressed with our facility and our campus, and so yeah, like I said, last night was a lot of fun and good ball game.
Yeah. Leading into the big weekend series at home against UAB. UAB's been pretty hot this season, and we've talked about them before on the show a little bit. As you guys are preparing, anything you guys can share with us today about what we might see from UAB?
Yeah, I mean, they're just a really well-rounded team. They don't make a whole lot of mistakes, and they can, they've if you go back and you look at their games, they've won with power, they've won with some speed, they've won on the mound. So, ultimately, it's just going to come down to to us and playing our game, and it should be a really good challenge. Coach Casey Dunn, is the new head coach there for them, and he was at Samford for a long time and built a really great program there. And so we all knew right away, right when Coach Dunn got to UAB, that they were gonna do great things, and they're having a really fine first campaign, and will be a good challenge for us for sure.
It's another one of those schools that you haven't had a chance to coach against yet, so it's kind of wacky. Last year we only played the East Division mostly, and then so you get to see all the Conference USA teams this year.
Yeah, definitely. So, and with the one thing is though is like every year it's kind of a new team, and so I think they brought in a bunch of transfers here, for their first year as well. So, it'll be good. It'll be good to see, kind of get a first look at them, I guess, like you said. Yeah.
I think you said their leadoff guy last night was somebody that we faced last year, right?
That was Coastal's leadoff guy. Yeah. He led off for Rhode Island last year. So when we
Sorry, I skipped topics on you.
Yeah.
I do that. Something popped in my head. I'm like, we've seen. Okay, transfers. Yeah, that's what popped in my head when you said transfers.
Gotcha.
Triggered me. So I'm officially triggered. Sorry about that. So something to echo something you brought up. You talked about guys getting hot. And admittedly, when we're talking to you, we tend to talk a little more towards pitching because you're a pitching guy. In terms of guys getting hot last few weeks, I think about Hale Sims.
Yeah.
Okay. And this is sort of quietly becoming a really big story, I think, as far as Hale goes and Hale's development.
Yep.
you think it's fair to say that to start off with, go back to week 1, there was a role for Hale, but maybe you really weren't sure exactly what that role was right then. And Hale has progressed to starting on the weekday. Now he's essentially, last weekend he forced himself into the, and that might be the right way to put it or not, but forced himself into the weekend rotation. You sent him out there as an opener,
Yeah.
and Hale basically said, hell no, I ain't leaving.
Yeah. Well, he's a big time competitor, and he's a big time competitor, and that's what big time competitors do, frankly. That's one of the things. There's a lot of things we love about Hale as a person, as a pitcher, but his competitiveness and his fire, it's real. So yeah, to your point, I knew in the back of my mind, anytime you tell a guy that he's gonna be open, he's gonna be an opener, and get us one time through the order, and we'll go from there. With guys like Hale in the back of your mind, you're like, I might not be going out there the first time through the order. I might, which is what you want. That's what you want. So, and to your point, that's, as a coach, that's what you want. You always want players to play so good that you have to put them in there, and Hale's doing that, and he's worked extremely hard. He's one of the best teammates. He's been. He's a guy that has, he's come to Charlotte and he has worked and worked and worked and gotten opportunities, and, some have gone great and some have been frustrating, and some have gone great and some have been frustrating, but he's just stayed the course and continues to go and work and be a great teammate. And so you always want guys like Hale to get paid off, because you just, it's not a overnight thing. It's not a, and when he has success, it's not a fluke. It's from years and years and years of hard work. And, for a program, for us, we pride ourselves on really wanting to be a program on development. And when you're a program that pride yourself on development, you understand that you don't always, that return isn't always going to occur tonight or tomorrow or the next day. The return is coming. You don't always know when. And, but the thing is like the signs are there, and the signs were there for Hale every step of the way. It's just a matter of continuing to stay with it and hang in there and keep going and keep getting better, because he's not done. He's not even close to his ceiling now. There's things that he's doing now that are better than he's done, but there's still things that he can improve upon, and as he does, he's just going to keep going to new heights. So couldn't be more thrilled for him to be doing what he's doing, and other guys are seeing it, and it's making other guys that work that much harder, and guys who have had frustrating moments, they can look at Hale and say, you know what, like, if he can do that, I can do it too. And I think that's very important.
Yeah, and like I said, Hale a couple weeks ago, during a midweek game, he had I think he had a no hitter going through 5, or was it 5? 5 and 2/3.
Yeah, 5
So
and 2/3.
like I said, he's definitely shown glimpses of where he's going, and like you said, frustrating moments, but he's kind of whittling down those and making those all towards shining towards where he's going.
Yeah, Hale's a momentum guy. I feel like when Hale can get out and start well, then that's when he's just gonna. You can kind of see it, and he's one. Matt talked about. Matt's kind of a low heart rate, even though he says sometimes he's not, but low heart rate. You can look at Matt. You can look at Matt, and you don't know if he's throwing a no hitter or he's getting roughed up. Honestly, he just kind of looks the same. Hale, though, I feel like Hale, you can watch his confidence grow. It's visible. The way his confidence once he gets going in the he puts an inning together and then he puts another inning together. It's all over his face. I think. I'm sure you guys can see that from the dugout as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's. Yep, and confidence comes from two places for the most part. It comes from hard work and slash preparation, and it comes from success. And so it's then you combine those things together. Then you got max confidence, and that's when players can really take off. And so it's just the key there is hard work, and preparation, and because that's where Hale got his confidence from when he had those frustrating moments. That's what, and that is a really big key to guys having certainly individual success, but having a team of guys with that mindset can lead to collective success as well. So it's just a great example, and just love giving him the ball right now each and every week. He's doing a great job.
One of the things I think fans have certainly picked up on and noticed over the last few weeks, you guys as a staff have not been afraid to change up tactics, to change up what you're doing, and look to go in some new directions and try to sort of just change up your philosophy a little bit. And primarily that has shown up, or when we talk to people, they're like, that you guys are going with the opener more. Now, you've done it a little bit. You've done a little bit in your tenure here. But that's definitely something that's become part of your strategy and what you're doing. Talk a little bit about the transition and just the way you've kind of changed things up there, and whether it's Colby Bruce that started with Colby the other night, and then you had Hale coming in and doing. Talk about the transition to that method a little more.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, I guess to really summarize it, I would say that, look, we feel like all of our pitchers are very capable, and it's just a matter of helping put them in a position to be successful, to put us in a position to win, and so it's like Colby, for example. Like if we all know that Colby Bruce is one of our best pitchers and
stock pickers,
so it's that's never going to change. He's one of our best pitchers, and so when if there's one or two games where he doesn't necessarily have his best games, like we're going to refuse as a staff to just accept that he's not one of our best pitchers. We're not going to accept that. So we're going to work with him, continue to work with him, and say, okay, like if for the last two stretches, not previous to him being an opener, we brought you in and didn't go the way you wanted. Brought you in, didn't go the way you wanted. Well, let's bring you in under different circumstances. Let's bring you in the first, and you don't have to worry about coming in like somebody's. You don't have to worry about a lot of things. You can just come in, hey man, lead us off, give it your best, go at it. Like there's nothing to lose here. If you give up a run in the first, we've got 9 innings to come back from it. Whereas sometimes, if you give up a run in the 9th, if you give up a run in the 8th, if you throw two innings and give up a run, the first 2 innings, it can be different than if you throw the 8th and the 9th and give up a run.
Sure.
So it's just kind of putting in guys in a position to be successful. But at the same time, he did that and he did it really well, and that can kind of lead to getting him back into the bullpen. And this is what my good fastball feels like. This is what my good slider feels like. This is what it, and but we're not going to accept the fact that just because he has a bad outing or two or a frustrating outing or two that we need to go 2 or 3 weeks without him pitching. Like that's not going to help us be successful. We can only be our best when guys like Colby Bruce and others are pitching well and being themselves.
Well, I mean, I think another great example of that is last night, and you got Colby in, but you also got Goose in for an inning last night. He struck out all 3 guys.
That was awesome.
His last time out was certainly frustrating for him, but little in the stands we call it a little hair of the dog, right? You just gotta get back out there and get back on it.
Yep. Again, I mean, Spencer's one of our best pitchers, and
Right.
so it's our job as coaches to continue to coach these guys and help them and put them in positions to be successful and stay with them, and because that's just what we do as coaches. Like that fired everybody up seeing Spencer do that last night,
Yeah.
because that is what that's what he looks like. And when he looks like that, good things happen. And so again, it just spreads. Like it started with Brooksy, and then we've got AJ Wilson and Tony Rossi and Colby and Goose and just all these guys that are just coming in and getting after it. It just really, it just spreads. Everybody always says hitting's contagious. I think pitching's contagious too.
Well, and great transition there. Speaking of hitting is contagious. I mean, we've been looking at it. Some guys have been working through some different things, but I don't know that anybody is any hotter than Jack Dragum right now.
Yeah.
Jack has been swinging the bat really well. He's doing it a number of different ways, and he's always been solid in the field.
Yep.
I mean, that's what he hangs his hat on. But when you look at Jack right now, I mean, he's outpacing his just his batting average. He's outpacing himself from last year by about 100 points, I think. To look that up, confirm it, but it's about 100 points. Jack is swinging. I don't want to say he's swinging a hot bat. He's swinging a saucy bat, Kevin.
That's good. That's good.
You like that?
I like it.
When you're talking Jack, you got to work saucy.
You got to talk saucy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jack's just a ball player. He's a really good ball player. He's a competitor. I think he is, he's a guy that I think is, I think all of our guys, they get recognition and they get mentioned and they get exposure and that kind of thing. But I think, I think Jack is a little bit of a guy that flies under the radar with how complete of a player he is and how versatile a player he is. And I mean, you certainly look at his stats, but then you really pay attention to kind of the clutchness and the two out hits, the 2-strike hits, getting a hit off of a guy that has been mowing that we haven't really been able to figure out. And then he kind of throws like the first punch that kind of opens the wound. And then other guys are like, oh, we can get to him. Jack's kind of always that guy. And so, yeah, he's helping us. He's helping us in a lot of ways, and love coaching him.
I agree wholeheartedly. I mean, we do sort of get. It's easy to talk about so many of these guys, and Jack does kind of fly under the radar, and that's. I mean, that's. I think part of that's sort of his personality. He's very laid back, but part of it's we need to do a better job talking about somebody who's doing a great job, because I mean he's done a fantastic job.
Is he still the leader in ERA on the team?
Yes, he is. Jack Dragum is also the team ERA leader.
Yeah.
Followed. Somebody else might have a 0-2. Michelson still has a 0.
Yeah, Evan does.
Evan still
Sure
has
does.
a 0. Then after that, it's Matt Brooks, which I think Matt's somewhere around 2 1/3, something like that.
Yep.
So yeah, it's fantastic. And another thing from last night. Austin Knight got a little work done with the bat, and he's been trying to break out, and it was good to see him. It's sort of like a basketball player needing to see the ball go through the hoop.
Yep.
Jack needed to see Austin needed to see a ball land on some grass, right?
Yep.
And that happened. But that play he made it short. I don't remember what inning that was, but that play he made it short was just phenomenal.
Yeah, it went full 360 and used every bit of the turf, and that's just again, Austin's one of our best players, and he has looked better, like came out of the season, just in fuego, and then got dinged up running to first base against West Virginia, and really fought hard to kind of come back from that and play through that truthfully. Where I think there's some guys that probably would have taken another week or so to kind of really get back to full strength, and I think he came back and fought through that, and I don't want to make excuses for him because that's the last thing he would want, but it just when you don't have your lower half in your swing, it can kind of get you off tilt just a little bit. So,
Sure.
I think as the seasons progress, we're getting more and more back to where he started, and that's a good thing with this much ball left to play. And again, never a bad feeling writing Austin Knight's name in the lineup card. I promise you.
That's right. I think he had 3 hits last night.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, and Jake continues to, Jake's work. Talking about being dinged up. Jake got dinged up first weekend.
Yep.
And has been working his way back from that, and he's swinging a hot bat too right now.
Yep.
And he crushed that ball last night.
Yeah, I mean, there's times honestly where Jake looks like he's playing on a field that is too small for him. It's pretty cool, honestly. Like it feels like he gets to first base too fast. It feels like he runs down plays in the center field too fast, and it looks like hits like that get out and go too fast and go too far.
Yeah.
It sounds weird, but but that's what major league players kind of look like, and so he's just fun to watch, and another one that we're really thankful that he's here with us and doing what he's doing, because he's another guy that he will play through anything. He's just all about helping us win as many games as possible, and heck, he even stole second base last night on a pitch out and still beat it.
Yeah.
He just does stuff that really is pretty incredible on baseball field.
He and Nate are competing for team leader in stolen bases. I think Nate's got him like 16-14 right now or something like that. But.
Yeah, no, and Jake almost caught up to him, but we got the challenge review and Firm got to stay. So
Yeah.
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 That that's been another thing. I'm really appreciative of our administration for fighting to support installing instant replay here for the season. It's it's just all about getting the call right, and that again, one example last night and a few examples a couple weeks ago, but that's been a really great addition to the Hayes and our game day experience.
Well, not only that, but Kevin and I have been talking about quite a bit about the quality of the ESPN Plus broadcast, the way that has brought. I mean, you had some of the footage on, before we got on the air tonight. I mean,
our games are pretty much always on up here. We watch it. We watch them a lot.
The ESPN Plus stuff has just been fantastic.
Yeah.
I'll say this: at least we're not fans. Everybody knows this. We're not fans of Conference USA TV. If you follow us on Twitter, But hey, at least when you're here and the game's on Conference USA TV, we actually show the game. I'm just saying.
That's right.
I mean, not pointing fingers at anybody.
But
It wouldn't be a podcast without a few jabs.
Middle
It's-
Tennessee.
Well,
Middle Tennessee State University.
Going back, we did get a tour of the indoor facility yesterday, season ticket holder appreciation day.
Yeah, that was really cool.
And we got to see the replay setup, so that was pretty neat. It's a huge TV with a computer monitor in front, so they had the broadcast up, so they could rewind it and look at it. So we got an inside look yesterday. It's pretty neat.
Yeah, if it's our challenge, we leave the TV plugged in so they have the big screen. If it's a challenge against us, we pull the plug and
Get it on the laptop.
they gotta look at the laptop.
Is that Sydney's job?
Yep. Yeah.
So we did did season ticket holder appreciation last night, and everybody got a tour of the indoor facility. which was funny because the guys were coming in like pregame treatment, and then we're all in there. There's 24 people in there or whatever. But we saw guys. You're talking about guys dinged up and guys working back. We saw guys lined up to get treatment from Donna, from trainer Donna Nemo. I went and got in line. I was like,
You'd have been there an hour to getting all the treatment you needed.
well, it was Madole. Madole said, "What are you in line for?" I said, "Man, I'm old. I hurt." When I got to Donna, I was gonna give her a list of things that aren't wrong with me, and then she could work from there.
Yeah.
But the tour moved on, and I had to give my spot.
Right.
I think I gave who did I give my spot? I think I gave my spot in line to Austin.
Austin Knight, yeah.
Yeah. So, and then he goes on and has a great night. So
There you go.
it was time well spent.
Man, if you held him up and kept him from 4 hits, man, that's not good.
Well, he it's better that we have Austin in good shape than me. Let's just say that.
No, the three hits, you helped him out.
Yeah, and Donna can only do so much, so she wasn't going to be able to help me out that much anyway. So
She's only got so much time.
there's only so much time in a day. That's right. I'm pausing because you look like you're getting ready to make a point.
Well, I know.
I don't want to stop you from saying something awesome. I've already
I know
held
we're
off.
over.
I've prevented Austin from getting 4 hits, and I'm about to stop you
No,
from making a
I
point.
know we're going over time, but we talked last week about how clutch Caden Hobson has been.
Yes. Yes.
Once again, last night, they intentionally walked the batter in front of him to load the bases, and then they brought in another reliever, and he hits a triple off the wall in dead center.
That's out any other part of the park.
Yeah, it is. It would have been
Yeah.
out in the other park. Talk a little bit about that, Coach. It seems like he always comes up in the clutch moments as of the last 3 or 4 weeks of the season.
Yeah, no, I mean it's for whatever reason he's been up there in a lot of situations, and we certainly feel good about it. I mean, throughout the course, for pretty much from the beginning of the season, even when he wasn't getting hits, he was still getting on base. I mean, his on base percentage has been, it's been up over 400 for most of the season. So, I want to say probably 4 to 6 weeks ago, he and Coach Sieb were, kind of made some small tweaks to his swing and kind of added a leg kick to kind of help him with his timing and his balance, and tap into a little bit more power. And, so there's a little bit of a learning curve with that, but he's really worked hard at it and done a great job of really running with it. And I think it's helped him. And, from the beginning, even the recruiting process, we loved his swing from the start. So, with how hard he works and everything, it's really kind of not a surprise to how much he's already gotten on base. It's really not much of a surprise to our coaching staff because, he's such a hard worker and he's such a good player. So, it felt really good when he's walking up there with runners in scoring position, bases loaded, 2 outs to get us started. I mean, right now, every time he comes up, we feel really good about it.
So producer Brad is letting me know. I already knew this, but he's emphasizing that we have blown way through our time tonight. And you know what? I don't even care.
It's been a while since I've been here, and I hadn't seen Coach in a while on the show, so I got a lot
It's
of
all
questions,
good.
a lot to talk about.
And we
all
had
good.
41.
Yeah,
right.
I had Matt Brooks too.
I mean, come on. I don't even care, And I think that our audience has come to expect that from us.
They've come this far. They're in for the long haul.
That's right.
Well,
they have come to expect that from us.
I have learned that some of our fans will watch in segments, like they'll listen a little bit and then they'll do something else and then come back and listen to the rest. So
Yeah.
I think with Joe Hanel said he can only take us 30 minutes at a time. he said it takes me 3 days to listen.
Yeah, that's good.
I said, hey, just as long as you're listening.
Yep.
All right. So give me the schedule for this weekend, Kevin. You got there in front of you. It's 6 o'clock on Friday night. We got 3 o'clock on Saturday, and 1 o'clock on Sunday. Right. UAB. Big Conference USA series. It's time to start making our way up the standings, and they're one of the folks in our way. So we're going to have to leapfrog them. Good weekend to start. Saturday, tailgate, 11 o'clock. The weather report or the weather forecast, we do weather on this show too. A lot of folks, talked to a lot of folks so far. The tailgate's grown every week, getting a little bigger. Still hearing from some folks saying, yeah, but it's been so cold. And it has. This has been the strangest spring weather baseball weather I can remember. But Saturday, sunny and 81 degrees.
Let's go.
Okay. So if you get out here to the goal lot, and you know where to find us. We'll be out there. I'm just saying it's going to be 81. There may be homemade ice cream involved on Saturday. Producer Brad just committed. He heard homemade ice cream. He's in. So get your gear together. Come out on Saturday and tailgate. Let's do it. Big. This is baseball weather.
Yeah.
We're finally having some baseball weather.
That's right.
And hey, when it warms up, the bats come alive too. That's always a deal. So Come check it out. Coach Woody, we always give you the last word. So once again, here you are. What you got? Yeah,
no, I just I think we started with Brooksy. I'll kind of wrap up with Brooksy just in terms of he's been here for 6 years. He's been through a coaching change, a shoulder surgery. He's been through just a lot, just so many things. And, I think as a coach, you always hear that, over the years, your players will actually teach you more than you probably teach them. And I would say in 3 years of coaching Matt Brooks, I'm sure he has taught me more than I've taught him. And just thankful to be his coach. I know our entire coaching staff is, amazing family, and just him and all the seniors get to really make sure that we enjoy our time, here down the stretch these next few months.
Yeah, for sure. It feels like this season just started, but we're already getting deep into it. We were in Tampa just like 2 weeks ago.
I know.
It feels like it's flying by. Always does. All right, folks, we are, as always, way, way out of time, but that's all right.
Yeah.
Appreciate you sticking with us. Look for this podcast wherever you get your podcast. Make sure you can click subscribe. We're up to 100 subscribers on YouTube now, so we got that. That's a milestone. So if you're watching on YouTube, go ahead and subscribe to that too. Reach out to us on social media. We do Twitter, we do Facebook, we do Instagram. We still do not do TikTok, and we're still not going to do TikTok. Reach out, say hello. We're going to be at the ballpark all weekend this weekend, so we've enjoyed getting to know a lot of you folks. So just say hello when you see us out there. But for producer Brad, Kevin, Coach Woody, this has been Nick. Until next time, we'll see you at the Hayes.
Go Niners.